Let's go. This is the 2025 NRL ladder predictions. These, full disclosure, these were done before round one, so there's already, we're coming into round two. Some of these are going to look a bit silly, but so for me, I'm going to just read out mine. From the bottom, I got Canberra, then Parramatta, Newcastle, Dolphins, Gold Coast, Souths, Dragons, West Tigers, Chooks, Sydney Chooks, New Zealand Warriors, North Queensland Cowboys, Manly Seagulls, and now we get to the top five. Dogs, Cronulla Sharks, Broncos, and the big two at the top, Panthers and Storms.
Okay. You had Canberra last?
Yeah.
What was your reason for that, and how do you feel about
Well, I just think, there's just no, to me, no. Obviously, they came out firing in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But it's that, it sounds a bit like they always scrap hard, they're battlers. But yeah, just the lack of big names, I think. I know a lot of their sort of stars are in the forwards, like Tapini and that. But that's it for me.
Were there any shocks in your top? We had Bulldogs fifth, was it?
Yeah. I like the look of Dogs.
What do you think of Cronulla?
I guess probably Roosters being so low was probably a shock for people. But I got them ninth, but just there's a lot of big losses. Hargreaves, Manu. And then I've got obviously the West moving up. They've had 3 spoons in a row, but I've got them up to 5, 6, 7, 10th.
10th, okay.
They'll take that, I reckon. There'll be party if they get 10th. There'll be parties in Campbelltown / Leichhardt / Concord, wherever else. Speaking of which, later stick around. We've got some Tigers coverage for you Tiger fans.
I'll go through mine. So I've got in 17th I've got Canberra, which is because I just think that they didn't recruit as well as they could have.
Yeah.
But now I feel like an idiot after
it's
Vegas.
One game, but
but they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Newcastle next, which they won as well. So far I've tipped all of the teams in the bottom that won round one pretty much. Dolphins, then I've got Roosters, Titans, Dragons, Souths, Tigers, Parramatta, New Zealand, and North Queensland in 9th.
You got Eels pretty high. You don't.
Well, I thought they would be good. I was excited about Jason Riles. I think Mitch Moses got injured. I think maybe he was already injured.
I mean, a lot of this comes down to availability of your star players, and
I think they've got a good team if they can get them all together. But and if I don't know, I think just the hope of Riles comes from Roosters and the Storm, so it's like I'm led to believe that he knows what he's doing. So I feel that.
But at some point, all of these coaches have come from like Panthers, Storms. They're
Broncos,
all just going to be
yeah. So that it is tricky. Because Trent Barrett came from Penrith and he was horrible. So no offense, Trent Barrett, but wasn't that great a coach?
Offend away.
Yeah, I think he was.
We don't have any Trent Barrett lovers here or anything like
He's a good bloke, but just wasn't the right time for him. And then in my top 8, I've got in number 8 I've got the Dogs. Then I've got Manly. Then I've got Penrith in 4th. Then I've got Cronulla. Then I've got Brisbane, and then I've got Melbourne.
Yeah.
A
lot of people have got Broncos bouncing back. Obviously, Hunt, huge recruit. Yeah,
and I think what Madge did we saw on the weekend when Carrigan in the
front row
rather than playing lock, and Payne Haas playing only like 30 minutes, having a break, and then not trying to play the whole game. I think that was a big impactful thing. Willie Mason on the Levels podcast had a lot to say about that, and I think he hit the nail on the head.
We don't need to mention rival podcasts.
But he's.
This is the only one you need to watch. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Look, we don't have anything majorly different to a lot of ones you've seen floating around, but that's our 1 to 7 in.
Yeah, we'll see how we go at the end of the year.
and again, suburban ground, Campbelltown.
Yes, yeah.
This is like
They work
one of
Campbelltown,
like I said, I do like a lot of different sports, but one thing I think NRL really has going for it is the use of the suburban grounds. Down in Melbourne with the AFL, it's a bit stale with just the two stadiums they use in the city.
Yeah.
But down in the heartland, I like to call it Campbelltown. Like I was talking before about the mergers and that and alternating and a lot of people and rightfully so. Leichhardt is a classic old ground, but a lot of people you only ever hear people like talk up Leichhardt. I want to give some love for Cambo.
Yeah, Campbelltown's great. Yeah, Seatown, it's good.
Well, that's the true like
Cursor country.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's what I'm saying. Like they live the life down there, you know.
Yeah, they are footy. Yeah.
But yeah. So what? Tell us more about this.
My take was at half
no,
time.
can you just go? What we're talking about is
the standing ovation at half time. So
and paint the scene. They're up. What?
I think it was 8-6 or something. It was. They
Wasn't
were up
by
by like
law,
2 points or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And as they came off, they got a standing ovation from the fans at Campbelltown. Which good on them. Good on them for getting out there. And I think there's a lot of optimism around Tigers. I had them 10th.
Well, as a man who's followed some not great sports teams, there is a thing of having a bar so low that you can do the littlest thing and do your standing O's, Tigers.
They looked good. They looked good in that first half. I thought Luai looked great with Galvin. I thought they looked really dangerous. It was a tough game, and when they came off, they got the standing O, and then everyone obviously online, they end up going on and losing the game. And it was, which sucks.
As the Tigers can do.
So then online, everyone's like ripping on them in all the podcasts, all the chat afterwards. They've just copped heaps of flack for getting the standing O. And I think it's wrong. And my take on it is
sorry, can I just clarify? You're saying so you think it's wrong? No.
I think it's wrong. People ripping on the Tigers.
Sorry. I just misunderstood. You thought you said the standing ovation is wrong.
No. I'm all for the standing ovation. But I think it's like you have to understand what it's about. It's not about the fact that it's halftime of the first game of the year.
They just want to see effort.
They want to see effort. They want hope. They've not had hope for so long.
3 straight wooden spoons.
3 straight spoons, and then
and this is a sport that doesn't have like a draft or anything either.
Yeah.
At least in some sport, you go, we got the top draft pick. Like.
And at halftime for them, they're winning. They probably know deep down it's all downhill from here for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? Like they've seen it before, but at halftime, round 1, they're on top.
Yeah.
I think it's like my analogy is like in Shawshank Redemption when they have the guys up on the rooftop.
Here we go. I like this. If we can. I love it like a link to pop culture.
But and they're cleaning the roof, and then the prison guard guy's talking about. He's like, when my parents died, and now I inherited the house, but the IRS is going to tax me. And then Tim Robbins is like, do you trust your wife? You know how he does that thing, really, which is the worst way to introduce the idea, by the way, because he's like, what the hell? And then he's like, your wife, do you trust her? And then he's like, come here, and he's like going to throw him off the roof. And then he's like, you better explain yourself, or I'm going to, and then he's like, because if you put your house in your wife's name, you can do a one-time tax-deductible gift, blah, blah. And he does that thing, and the guy's like, are you serious? And then he's like, yeah. And then he's like, if you get the forms, I'll do it for you. And then he's like, yeah. And then he's like, I'll do it if you give our guys some beers or whatever. And then it cuts to them, the prisoners on the roof that are in for life. They're sitting there and they're like drinking a beer in the sun.
Yeah.
And then Morgan Freeman's like, that was the day that Andy Dufresne, and he does that whole thing, and he's like, I don't know why Andy did it. I think he just wanted to feel like a free man or something. That thing. And it's like, that was the Tigers. The Tigers were Andy Dufresne and Morgan Freeman's character. Is it Red? Yeah, I don't even remember. Anyway, all the other characters, I don't even know. But like, that was what the Tigers were. They were sitting on a rooftop having a beer in the sun after serving a life sentence in jail. And that's why they gave the standing ovation, and I'm all for it. You know, you can't measure their success on a club like Melbourne or anyone else because, those guys, they're like the Shawshank Redemption dudes.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That's beautiful. Like,
I think it is.
I really love that comparison because it almost did have this Hollywood build-up, you know, like Benji Marshall's come in, the favourite son as coach. It's been a few tough years. Still going to be a bit of pain, but it felt like something is brewing, you know?
Yeah. Maybe Benji Marshall is Morgan Freeman and Jerome Luai is Andy Dufresne, or Dufresne, however you say it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe as the year goes on, we'll find out. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel that like it was Shawshank Redemption stuff going on, not let's pick on these guys because they ended up losing the game. I don't. For me anyway.
Yeah.
Can you do a Morgan Freeman accent? I was trying to do one like
No,
all day.
I don't want to be cancelled.
Can you try?
No, I don't. I don't really do accents.
You don't do accents? You do.
Maybe
I've seen you do
Jamaican.
Marge Simpson.
Oh yeah. Homer? No. I'll be like if Marge Simpson might be like, these West Tigers, they need to start to win or something. I don't know. But oh yeah, it is. Because like footy's got this like they call it the working class game. Things that change over the years is like, but it is that thing of like this is what I love about sports and stuff. Like you go to work all week, you're thinking about that Friday, that Saturday, Thursday night. Although I know they got heaps of days now, and it gives you you gotta have hope, you know.
And in the Shawshank, there's another scene where I think Andy's getting one of the guys to finish high school or something, or doing his thing to try and get out of jail or get parole or something, and he's like, "Don't give him hope," and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Hope's a dangerous thing in here, Andy," and it's like that's like the Tigers.
Like you could tell us as a Panthers fan, you know, like you've probably
we sucked for so long. We sucked.
You're seeing now the beautiful fruits.
And like
you're seeing the mangoes now. You've what's a bad fruit? You're seeing the real brown grapes and
yeah. We're getting the caviar and like the But and there were years there which weren't that long ago. Like I can remember it where making the finals was a huge deal, and then like the thought of winning another comp was like we won in 91, then we won 03, and I was like, cool. In 20 years or something, like we can win another one.
Yeah,
and now it's like it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so I don't know. It's tough to win. It's tough to win, and the Tigers fans, this is your year. Maybe not to win, but to improve.
To do standing ovations.
Yeah, standing. Standing.
I
ovations.
went to a game last year at Leichhardt. I haven't been to a game at Carrolltown, but it is something interesting to be a part of because it's like they did get belted that night by I think it was Cowboys.
Oh, and that was the first.
Justin Olam got sent off.
Oh yes, yeah.
But they had a little bit of a fight back, and something was brewing, you know. But
yeah,
but it is that very different grounds, you know. Leichhardt's a little bit more wealthy around there and that.
It's gentrified now. But yeah, it's got that. It's like an antique.
Yeah,
it's got that kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
Big signing this week, guys. You might have heard Dylan Brown going from Parramatta to the beautiful Hunter region.
Signed with Newcastle for 10 years. I think.
Yeah, it is that. I follow a lot of sports, a lot of different sports. It is that funny NRL thing that a lot of other sports don't do, where you say you're going somewhere and you finish off.
The pack your bags, son. You got to fly to Houston.
I think a funny comparison, if that was to happen in IRL, as the kids say, like, if you told your misso, like, you found your new partner, and but I'll fulfill my obligations to you this year, you know. But I know it's not the same thing. Don't call in angry saying you're comparing love to sports.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. It's a funny thing, and
it's hard for fans.
Like I follow a lot of different sports, and fans of other sports would be shocked by what goes on in the NRL. But I feel like, but there's still people who can't get their head around it. I've seen in comment sections. There's the classic, you got to drop him to reserve grade, you know, and then there's always someone reply sensibly with like, well, we are paying them $700,000 or whatever.
Has there been? I haven't seen the drop into reserve grade chat. Has there been that about Dylan Brown after?
I just saw it. There's always that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an idiot out there.
I think that's the mentality of like we'll show him, but it's like I said, it's a
He's
rugby
your
league
best
thing.
player
But the clubs are doing this to each other. That's the funny thing. You'll be like angry at a club or a player, and they're all in it together, you know? Like, unless there's a rule made. What is it? Like, soccer has transfer window. I know, like, I follow the American sports. They're pretty crazy with, like, how far into the season you can still sign people. And
yeah. They have transfer windows in the EPL and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like in the middle of the season, they'll have a weekend, and then just like, dudes just switch clubs, and then they're at the next club like the next week. So yeah, it's very.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about, like talking about sports fandom NRL fandom. A lot of people kind of like, and there's vested interest, like Eels fans want to make themselves feel better, so they're like, oh, sucked in Newcastle, you're getting a dud or whatever, and whatever. But for the either Newcastle or Eels, there's a lot of, I guess there's sort of like a little bit like tall poppy syndrome as well. But what I wanted to say is, so people talking negative, okay, oh, he hasn't done anything yet, he's not that good. But clubs, what I want to say is clubs don't think negatively like fans do. And so like it's that classic, what do they say? Glass half full versus half empty.
Yep.
They're thinking, hopefully we get some great production out of him. Whereas fans are thinking like the glass half empty thing of like, he hasn't done anything. Yeah.
But I think, there's that optimism, I guess. But like, you're not going to go and buy a new car and be like, oh, it's kind of shit. You know?
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah.
You're not going to sign
I'll tell you
and not think he's going to, like, you sign a guy and he's your halfback and you're not going to think that he's going to win you a comp.
Yeah,
So
that's why I'm saying they've got to think, they're like, we'll get this guy, and hopefully they're not thinking, oh, we'll get him, he probably won't, or like. And the other thing I saw, Joey Johns discussing about the pressure of being in the Newcastle hub. He's like, oh, people are gonna want to talk to you at Coles. I'm like, mate, if someone's giving me $10 million, you can talk to me at Coles, Domino's, I don't care, So
yeah. But they're just gonna be like, oh, great game on the weekend, or what? He's gonna have to like, have a chat about their
missed
life
tackle,
or something. Yeah.
And the other thing is like they got Uber Eats and stuff. You're like, who's actually going to Coles now?
Yeah.
But,
that's a funny take. The whole like the Newcastle rockstar thing or whatever.
Yeah. Well, what's it like in Penrith? You got to like.
Oh, I think for the Penrith guys, like they would be very highly visible, but like I don't live in Penrith now, but when I was a kid, when I saw them, I used to see like John Cartwright at the shops in Penrith, and you'd be like, but I never talked to him. They're all so huge, but I was a kid. Like I'm still pretty small now.
I feel like they're
just the size of them, you're just like, oh, but it's the guy, but you're not going to run over and be like, hey mate, like. So I don't know.
I mean, it's not that like they don't have like assistants working with them and butlers and stuff, but there's sometimes they got mates who grab them stuff, partners, and like this idea that like they're out getting all their shopping and that.
I saw Herbie Farnworth at the shops the other day, and it was just kind of I didn't
bit of a mover and shaker here, folks.
Well, we go to the same
just
idea.
Drop Herbie in.
Yeah, but I didn't say hello or acknowledge him.
Do you have like British products in his trolleys, like some Marmite?
I didn't notice, but he did have a stronger British accent than I was expecting. I was like, oh wow, he actually sounds, hello, how are you? That's a horrible accent. But yeah, it was weird. Governor. When I was at the shop, I was at that bit where we were entering at the same time, so I ended up like walking around doing the aisles at the same time as him, and I felt like I didn't want to say anything to him. Then I just kind of felt like I was being a weirdo. And then I ended up in the line behind him, and I just like looked at my phone and looked away. But it was just kind of a bit weird. So I don't know. Maybe that'll be what happens to Dylan Brown in Newcastle. He'll just have people at the shops being like, pretending they don't notice who he is, and then doing their shopping.
So in conclusion, Dylan Brown, good for him. Knights, we're not sure. This is what I love, because we're talking about players, coaches, but the fans, get the fans involved. So, I'm sure most of you probably saw this, but for those who didn't, a Dragon supporter has gotten a meat pie, and he's gone up and thrown it at a Dogs fan, which, Dogs fans have copped grief over the years. They're the ones known as troublemakers. The roles are reversed here. I just want to say something. These are wealthy Dragons fans. They can just throw away. You can pay a fair bit for food at the sports. We're talking. What are we talking? $8, $9 for a pie.
I'd say so. Like
I've seen up around $9, $10.
I got a pie from the servo was $7 the other day. So
that's one aspect of it. The other aspect, this has all been like filmed by him, right? So it's not like because you got that classic thing of people dobbing in others with their own footage.
Yeah.
But he's filmed this himself, right? Is this I didn't get the story, like to go on like a TikTok or something?
I genuinely don't know.
It's backfired because they've I haven't heard the latest. He's going to be charged by police apparently. I know we laugh, but
Yeah, I know.
it can get quite hot,
It
those
is-
pies.
Yeah.
The gravy in between. I mean, I personally,
If you got some of that in your eye.
if food's coming to me, I'm just like, shit, I'm hungry,
But the guy confronted him. I didn't see all of it. I don't know. Yeah, obviously it's just it can start trouble and whatnot. But
You know what? Like,
yeah.
so, I mean, we haven't totally landed on it, but I think we're leaning towards being called on the hill. But
Yeah,
that we're all about the fans' view. We're all about the suburban grounds. It was Cogra, wasn't it, or whatever they call it?
yeah,
What it-
Jubilee.
yeah.
Cogra,
I can't keep up
yeah.
with all the dragons' names.
yeah,
like
yeah.
Wins the Wollongong one, I
Wing
think.
Stadium? Yeah,
Yeah, but let's just say Cogra.
yeah.
But yeah, Cogra I think it was on the hill,
Yep.
or it looked like there was stands there. But yeah, I don't know. Look, I don't like when there's fights. I don't like when there's fights when you got like families and kids around. So I could say that at least they're not punching on. But I don't know. Come
Eat
on.
pies, don't throw them.
That's
the
a
take
good
home.
message. Yeah, I always think we've got our sports fandom in Australia at a pretty good level. You hear about overseas it getting a bit out of hand.
Yeah.
Scottish soccer where you can't be in the wrong area with the wrong
They petition them off and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
riot police and whatever.
So let's not do that, guys.
Yeah.
Let's
It's pretty Australian though to throw a pie.
eat your pie, don't throw it.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know. Like, did he put sauce on it, or like did he take it out of the pack? Or
Had he had a bite yet? And he was like,
Yeah.
it's not a good pie, so I don't care. Like, or did he bite with intention?
Yeah.
When he went to the thing, was he like, I'm gonna throw this pie?
I just like
So many questions.
I just like love when like scandals are like kind of a bit wimpy.
What else did we have here? Oh, we had the society. Oh God, how do you say it?
I think it's Saifidi.
Saifidi, yeah.
Saifidi brothers playing each other.
For the first time.
Knights versus Dolphins. Yeah, I don't know which is which. Do you know which one went to Dolphins and which one's at Knights? Are they? They're twins, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. I actually have no idea.
Because I wanted to like brothers over the years. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like the Hindmarshes. Not many people talk about the lesser known Hindmarsh, Ian
Yeah,
Hindmarsh. One I remember from my childhood, sort of local, similar area to where I'm from, was the Smiths, Darren and Jason Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's obviously all the Walters. There was like
Yes, that's a long
Kevin
production.
and Kerrod.
Kevin, Steve, and Karen
yeah,
were the big.
right.
I think there's another one,
Yeah.
but Steve was playing for Raiders, and
Yeah.
he's like one of the greatest ever nines. Yeah, old school hooker. Boxhead was his nickname.
Boxhead. It's pretty
You
good.
don't get nicknames like that anymore.
We had Penrith had what do you call it? Greg Alexander and Ben Alexander, but then Ben Alexander passed away.
Yeah, that was tragic.
And then we had the Pulatuas. Tony
Yes.
and Frank. They were like they were two of the guys actually. There's been a lot of talk about this that Tony Pulatua, Frank Pulatua, and Joe Nullival were the guys that started like that Samoan influence at Penrith that now is like such a big thing, like all the Mays and
Yeah.
Jerome Luai and Brian To'o and all the
Yeah.
guys. Now there's such a big Pacific Island flavour to Penrith sort of team. But the Pulatua brothers were two of the first like guys that really came along from that sort of Samoan thing,
Yeah.
and cracked it really big and did really well at Penrith. And I think they've had a lot to do with the junior development stuff out there as well now. So those
Yeah.
guys were really big.
I do remember they're a big part of that era of like the 03 win.
Yeah. They were like,
But it's the game's changed a lot over the years. I know every now and then it'll come up online the old like programs, you know, that and there's like you look through this is like 90s, 80s, and it's like all like Anglo names, not like now, you know. It's like it's changed a lot.
well, there was the Johns brothers, the original ones, and then there was like we've got the
That's
Johns
right.
brothers now, but Cooper's
Famous
quit.
brother,
But is
yeah.
Jack Johns still playing?
I think
He was
I
at the
don't
Knights,
know.
wasn't
I can't answer that. Yeah, I think he was in the Knights Rezzies. Yeah, plenty of brothers.
he? Brett and Josh Morris.
Yeah. They're twins, aren't
Yeah,
they?
Glenn and Brett Stewart.
That's right. They look a bit different. They look,
The Burgeyes. Burgesses.
Burgesses,
Burgeyes. Burgeyes.
that was like Sam was quite a bit better. That was just sort of like stock standard, sort of like props.
I think Tom had a good couple of years. Yeah. But Sam was like the dude. He's immortal, I reckon. He's got to be close to an immortal.
Wow. Maybe for Brits, like
Yeah,
a British
yeah.
immortal, Bromortal.
Bromortal? Yeah. Oh gosh, my thing just.
Technology.
Oh, that's our last topic. There is the brothers thing in footy.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to give Ian Hindmarsh a shout.
Was that what that was
all
about?
it was about. Yeah.
What is it about Ian Hindmarsh?
Well, should we say because we saw we saw a little bit of the start of the Dolphins Knights.
Yeah.
Was it like first hit up?
First hit up, I think. Yeah, they came together
yeah.
and it was like penalty Dolphins from getting smashed. Yeah, so they squared up straight away.
Well, that speaking of Dolphins, should we talk a little bit about like the cyclone in Brisbane, Northern New South Wales?
Actually, before we segue into that, I did want to say something about brothers. So with Rugby League, brothers play against each other a bit. I think like Matty Johns was at Cronulla and Andrew was still at Knights, and like it happens a bit. And it's a gladiatorial like combat sport, I guess, is what they sort of pitch it as.
I always love when the media will get the parents in and be like, "Oh, who are you going from?"
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think they're gonna say? Like,
they're like, "Oh, I hope they both play well."
Yeah. Well, I prefer him. He makes more money for the family. Or what?
But yeah, in boxing or like in Muay Thai or in UFC, there's brothers in those sports.
Yeah.
But in Rugby League, it's not that uncommon to have brothers play against each other, even props, and they'll try and belt each other. But it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, we're still mates, kind of thing. But boxers don't fight like Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko. They had all the belts at one point, but they're like, "Will you fight?" And it's like, "Oh, he's my brother. I can't fight my brother." And one of a friend of mine, Paul Briggs, he was a world champion kickboxer, and his brother was a Australian champion and whatever kickboxer. And there was always "Will you guys fight?" And he's like, "No, I couldn't fight him because he's my brother." But and Tim Zhu with Nikita Zhu, and there's a lot of brothers that end up boxing.
Do you think they're like to get away with that, they're like, one of you's got to eat a bit more to go up a weight division?
I think there's a bit of that, but I also think, and because I only know because I know Paul Briggs and I've talked to him about it. But he's like, when you're going to fight someone, you have it in your head, like you want to knock them out. And like boxing, it's controlled violence, but it is violence. Where Rugby League, it's kind of more of a game, and I think it makes it different. Even though you're trying to hit them and hurt them or whatever, but like I think with boxing, because you're not like tackling them really hard.
Well, I think that's
punch them in the face.
Going off a bit on a tangent here, but whenever there's a bad like kind of head high that people are like, oh, that's going to get 7 weeks, and then I always think it's funny when someone will go like, well, there's no malice, and it's like, well, we know that, like, and they always go, no one goes out there to, but it's like
in boxing you do,
but what I'm saying that is, whenever someone says that, it's like, well, we know that it's a mistake, but you still got to punish it for being you're stuffed up.
So that people try to like minimize making mistakes as much as possible, like because mistakes will happen. But if you just go, oh, that's a mistake, even though that dude nearly died or whatever, or he was knocked out cold. You still got to punish it. Yeah.
It's on this occasion, it's an accident, but you've stuffed up. Yeah.
But yeah, I just find it like just interesting that the combat sport thing, like where boxers don't, or UFC fighters that are brothers don't fight each other, except in that movie Warrior. But
it's probably a bit of Hollywood.
A couple of hot boys in that one.
Well, you could
Tom
be
Hardy.
or it could just be like a family that really hates each other.
Maybe they need to have like a big family rift, and then the brothers can fight or something. Because Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they box, and then I think there was talk they might fight each other, but it would just be weird.
Another sort of brother thing that I just thought of was so over the years I've always loved my kind of like like talking about suburban fields and going to like sort of the level below NRL. Like I've gone a lot of like Queensland Cup and that. So this is going back a while, but Darren Lockyer's brother Matt was like played a lot of Queensland Cup, but it was that thing of that kind of not, it's like you're still playing a decent level, but it's that thing of like you don't say it out. Well, you don't know, but you don't even say it out loud. But it's that you're always thinking like, why is he worse? Like, how does it work with brothers where you're like, does someone get a bit more of the talent? Or
Like Jet Cleary went to New Zealand pretty much because of that. Because they were like at Penrith, he just can't play. Because I think he was playing like when he was 13 and stuff. And Nathan was in
another
NRL.
one's he seems to be like a serviceable prop, but like Shaq Mitchell.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a lot of people joking about like, I think it's in the basketball like Antetokounmpo was and
I don't know.
the Greek. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is like great player for Milwaukee Bucks. He's like from Greece. Anyway, they've like signed like 2 or 3 of his brothers who are like apparently useless, but it's like keep him happy sort of thing. It's like,
yeah.
So like what you're saying, like hopefully Jet kicks on, but it could be I know I go off on a lot of tangents here. This could be something we look in more depth into in another episode. But speaking of the Clearys and sort of like letdowns and stuff, clubs trying to replicate the father-son package.
Yeah.
So you've got the Walters, the Arthurs at Eels, the Flanagans at Dragons.
Oh yeah.
I try not to be too nasty, but you could sort of say
There is a lot, isn't there? Yeah.
They're like Clearys from Temu,
Yeah.
Clearys from Wish or something, you know.